Mihai Duca, Mihai Duca.
Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Coming up here to deliver a speech is a hard thing to do. Coming up here to deliver a speech which is part of a competition and you know that people are coming up here to beat you is an even tougher challenge, but you know that you have a shot at the prize, and even if you don't get the prize, still you will win something. Coming up here on stage, knowing you will not get any kind of prize, knowing that people will judge you, knowing that they will give you a piece of their mind, is a shot to the ego. If there are two people today, which are in a most sensitive position, these are Alexandra and this has been Orlando. I would like you to please give a round of applause for them, first of all. Thank you very much for coming up here and giving us the sample speech. I think you have demonstrated that you are a brave Toastmaster, that you are dedicated to developing yourself on the competent communicator track, and you have come here and you have shown to us how far you have come on the path between being afraid, come, step on front, and to the maximum level, which is a bit above what we have seen here in the best speeches tonight. I think you've demonstrated to us that you mastered the basics. The structure was there, your dedication was there, you spoke to us about something which is significant to you. And this has been clearly transmitted to us from the words you have chosen. Now, purpose of my speech is to give you a hint as to what you can do to improve along this path. Now, for this purpose, please imagine that right now I'm sitting in a glass aquarium, delimited by the maximum area allowed for these speeches. It can be an aquarium, or it can be a force field which only allows the positive and useful messages to come towards you. Because some things I might say, they might hurt your ego, but they are only my perception. Now, I think you will hear things related to vocal variety, which could have been maybe better. I think you will hear things about your body movement, which was somewhat from the elbows and not so much generous, and sometimes maybe not in sync with the enthusiasm demonstrated. But I think this has to do a lot with rationalization. You have told us what you think in your mind about these topics, but please show us this. We would like to see, pick a specific example where these questions related to why have come towards you, and show us how you lived that moment. Show us the emotion, don't tell us about them, because then your body will be in sync with this. Now, to further improve, I think all of us in the audience, in your audience, in my audience, in all of our audiences, we want to be impressed, we want to be touched. I think to choose a moment which is emotional is one thing, but choose one which you have successfully solved. I think you have the fire in you to develop to this level. Please continue to feed this fire. Thank you very much.
Ovidiu Oltean. Nietzsche once said that he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, but especially Alexandra, why did you deliver the speech tonight? I don't know why, but I'm really happy that I was here to witness it. They say that inspirational speeches are based on scars, not on open wounds. And that's what you did tonight. You based your entire speech on an unpleasant experience in the public speaking bootcamp. And that's what made the speech so inspirational. And I want to congratulate you for using a personal story as a foundation for your speech. I love the fact that you started your speech in a really fun way, and you started asking questions and asking us why this, why that, raising your hands, creating a connection and a bond with the audience, and that made us to listen to you really carefully. What I saw that could help you improve more the way you talk, because you have a very good English, is adjustments on the volume and the rhythm of your speech. And I'm going to tell you why. When the audience thinks they know how you are going to speak, they think they know what you are going to say. And if we think we know what you're going to say next, the speech becomes not so interesting. So what you can do is adjustments on the volume. Maybe you could try to talk a little bit slower here and there. And when you have something important to say, you could raise the volume higher and make small adjustments on the rhythm. How? I advise you to go to karaoke and try practicing singing songs in order to make adjustments to the volume. I love the fact that you had good gestures, especially when you said, "the fire in my heart," and you brought your hands to your chest. However, towards the end of the speech, I saw that your hands were shaking. There is a way you can stop this, because shaking hands or shaking legs comes from poor breathing. And I recommend you to use diaphragmatic breathing. That means inhaling and directing all the air in your tummy, so that you are in control all the moments, and in that way your emotions will cool down. I love the fact that you had a really good attitude, especially when you said that the speech in the boot camp was not so good. And you entered the story and you felt it. Now, Alexandra, I don't know why you delivered the speech today, but I strongly believe from the bottom of my heart that if a speaker comes in front of an audience, there is at least one person in the room that needs the message of that speaker. And I am pretty sure that today there was a person in the room who needed your message. So I congratulate you for that.
William Anderson. William Anderson. William Anderson.
Lovely ladies, distinguished gentlemen, and Alexander, where is Alexander hiding? Oh, there you are, okay. First thing I want to do is thank you for being willing to be our test speaker. Because in a national contest, that can be a little bit intimidating, but you handled it pretty well, so congrats on that. In my evaluation of you today, I'll focus on three things. What I saw as your strengths in your speech, things that I think could use some improvement, and then a few suggestions to help you with the improving. Now, as far as your strengths, I really liked your intro, because you grabbed everybody right away by asking, "Are you happy? Why?" And also that this draws everybody in, and they're thinking at the same time. If you can get your crowd thinking, that's a very big plus. So, and you use why throughout your speech, and that helped connect all the time with people. And so I really like that. You have a great smile, so continue using that all the time. You have excellent eye contact, you're looking around at everybody. You have a very strong voice. And so that would really be handy in big audiences. So I think you can handle really huge crowds with the voice you have. Now, as far as things to improve, the main things would be with your body gestures and your voice. Here's what I mean. You kept your hands, either when talking with your hands, so when you're doing a speech and you're always talking with your hands, pretty soon people don't know what your hands mean. It loses its meaning if you're using them all the time. So try not to talk with your hands all the time. Also, you would have them together in front like this, and that kind of closes you off to people. They call that the fig leaf. So you want to be more open, so that it helps you to connect with people better. Also, a lot of times you kept your elbows at 90 degrees. You're like someone marching in like a sergeant. Just relax and enjoy it. Enjoy your speech. Also, you move back and forth a little bit, sometimes a little bit too much. It's almost like for the audience, it's like tennis, you know, back and forth. But not that it's really that bad. But you did move quite a bit back and forth. So it would be good just to come over, talk for a little bit in this area. Come here, just a little bit, but not so fast back and forth. Just stop for a little bit. Now, as far as your ending, I thought it was okay, but I think it lacked punch to me. It could have had a better ending to it. Because also, for me, I was just like, oh, that's the end? So it could have been a little bit stronger, and I'll tell you why in a second, some suggestions. What I would suggest to you, first of all, is practice, and this is for a lot of people, this is our main problem as speakers. We don't use our arms or our hands very well. So practice your speech with your hands down until you get comfortable with them being down. And so you get your speech down pretty good, then think about how you can use your arms and your hands to emphasize certain points. Like if I want to make a point here, I use my hands and my voice. So use that, think about how you can emphasize your points with your body. Also, well, there's other things. Work on your voice as well, because it's strong all the time. Use it a little softer now and then. But with that, congratulations, you have a strong voice, you have a good smile, and you have good eye contact. Work on your body gestures and your voice, and you're well on your way to becoming an excellent speaker.
Răzvan Petrea? Răzvan Petrea.
Peter F. Drucker said that one can only perform from strength. And in order to do that, you first have to know your strengths. I have the feeling that, even though I have never spoken to Alexandra, I kind of got to know some of her strengths today. And her speech was fairly good. It was inspirational. And I would like to point out what she did well as some of her weaknesses. The first thing that popped out to me was how logical and organized she is in her thinking. I saw that the whole structure of the speech was very neat, and all the ideas were communicated clearly. So there was no problem with that. Also, I saw that she is more of a logical person than of an emotional person. And that for a trainer is definitely a plus. The structure was good. The introduction was good, with the rhetorical question. And also the conclusion was pretty strong. I also loved the fact that she used questions a lot. Not only as themselves, but her statements were actually constructed vocally as questions. Now, let's go to some of the bad side. If you are a very logical person, you kind of have some problems with being emotional. And if you are having an inspirational speech, that can be a problem. So the body language was pretty stiff. That was at least my opinion. And not only the whole body language, but also the face was not so expressive as one would expect. It only had a faint smile. It was good that it was a smile and not a frown, but it could have been more. The fact that you had an emotional topic should have been coupled with the fact that you pushed emotion into the audience. Also, the fact that you are a very logical person is seen in the way you use the English language. It is a very hard way to use the language, or as you say, a hard way to use the language. I would suggest to you that the R's should be softer when you're speaking to the audience. Then, a thing that you do very, very well is the vocal variety. I saw, as I said, that there was a question intonation inside the statements. Like it started low, then it raised very, very high, and then it went back low again, even if it was not really a question. I like the fact that you were very natural, and you were comfortable with that, with yourself. All in all, I think that you proved that you are a very logical person, that can hold a structured speech, but you could put a little bit of emotion as well. Thank you.
Author who is Alexandra Nădășan. Alexandra Nădășan, what's your why? What's your why? Alexandra Nădășan.
Good evening. I'm really happy to see you all here. Are you? Yes. Why? What made you decide to spend your weekend in a conference room at a Toastmasters conference instead of enjoying a nice weekend out with your friends and loved ones? Did you ever wonder why we do what we do, why we decide to try something new, or keep doing the same thing over and over again? Most of us probably attend regular Toastmaster meetings, prepare for our roles and speeches, and we're really committed to improving our public speaking and leadership skills, right? But why? Where are you going with this? It's really important to know where you're going, to have a clear vision. But sometimes we tend to take baby steps to get there. We avoid taking big risks, stepping too much away from our comfort zone. And we don't seem to get there. So today, I'm going to shed some light on a way you can use to realize why you do the things you do. And I'm going to start with a story. A couple of months ago, I attended a public speaking boot camp, and one of the biggest challenges there was to deliver a speech to what I later saw was a really skeptical audience. But I had prepared for it. I was really enthusiastic, and I had gotten tons of feedback that I integrated into my speech. So I felt ready. After the speech, though, I realized everything went wrong. I just wanted to go home and cry myself to sleep. So I started asking myself, why? Why am I doing all of this? All the stress before delivering the speech, the days and the energy spent preparing it. For some people who did not seem to get it. Why? And the answer was, well, because I want to improve my public speaking skills. That's great. But why do I want to do that? Well, because I want to be a really good trainer. I want to be able to deliver a clear message to my audience, which will have an impact and will inspire them. That's great. But why? I kept asking myself this question, like a 4-year-old. Well, because I want to help people develop their potential. I want to help them learn new skills. That's great. But what do I care if people learn new things? Why do I want to do that? Well, because I know in my heart that this is my mission. That's what, there's nothing that brings me more joy than helping people realize how valuable they are and how awesome they can become. You will never guess what my next question was.
Why?
Why?
How do you guess?
Well, because that's what starts the fire in my heart. Oh, that's why. And being able to be here today, to share my why with you, and to help you start the fire in your heart, that's what makes mine burn even stronger. And without thinking too much about it at the time, I used a simple technique called the 5 whys. It's widely used in companies and in teams when they want to get to the root cause of a problem. But we can also use it whenever we are feeling less motivated or passionate about pursuing our goals. You can use it to find what's truly driving you to reach your objectives. Whether it's you want to become the greatest speaker Toastmasters has ever seen, or you want to lose some weight, or you want to ski down from the steepest peak. Is anyone here who has a big goal that you're working towards? Can I see your hands? All you gotta do, my friends, is ask yourselves why. You start from the surface. You start by asking, why am I doing this specific thing? And you keep asking yourself why 5 times. You dig deeper and deeper until you find what truly drives you. You find it in your heart. You don't create it. You don't build it. You uncover it. Because it's inside. And you might not know. I had no idea what my true why was until like a month ago. And that's fine. But keep looking. Find it. Because when you will, that's when you'll want to do more of it. When you'll want to do it better. And that's when you'll find inside yourself the energy and the enthusiasm that will shatter your barriers and will start the fire in your heart. Thank you.
Question. Why am I here? You made me think with that opening, why am I here? And the answer struck me like a lightning bolt and burned me to a crisp. I'm here because of people like you. People that want to give. People that want to show us that our soul is like a mine, and deep inside we will find the fuel needed to achieve our dreams. And that ride into the mind, I would have liked to be a ride of revelation. And to achieve that, I have a few pinpoints. It's already clear that you want to correlate your body language with what you say. For example, when you move from one idea to the other. But sometimes we forget. So, as a pinpoint, when you're doing gestures, try to do gestures wide, open gestures. When you talk about baby steps, for example, try to correlate the baby step, the idea of baby steps, with the movement and the voice. For example, baby steps. When you're talking about the fire that breaks everything, don't take a step back. A step back means you're not certain. And that fire is certain. So, make a step forward and say it breaks. Show us the power of that fire. Because that fire is beautiful and deserves to be heard. Another thing, when you're holding your hands, the old Chinese have a saying for this. The closed fist is for power, but the open palm is for giving. So when you say about shedding some light, give us the light. When you tell us about giving us something, give it to us. Show to us that you are giving it. When you are talking about the 5 whys, make them whys. So we can see them and correlate them. And most importantly, try to have a structure that will not create anticipation, that will not be satisfied like the whys. I never heard the whys. Doing this, you will achieve a truly memorable experience and ride into our souls to discover that fire. Now, raise up. Get up, please. Okay, good. Now let's give her a round of applause, because people like her, it's what Toastmasters is all about.